Hey there, I'm Simon, and yeah, today I haven't done much, really. Or a little bit, I just try to chill out a bit and just, yeah, not like push myself too hard because I've been trying to actually go to school this week and do stuff, but today I didn't, even though like we had things to do. I just I don't know. I stayed at home. I didn't feel super anxious today. My anxiety wasn't too bad, but also it wasn't great either. It's more that I more almost forgot about it rather than being like not rather than it not being there. So, yeah, I just sat on the balcony, read actually completed the Hunger Games trilogy today. I've been putting that off for a while. I got a little bit annoyed with the last few chapters, or a segment of a chapter, but I think the book redeemed itself quite nicely. It had an epilogue that I don't think really was necessary, but possibly could give some people closure. But I think they probably should have skipped it, or she probably should have skipped it. I don't even know what the author's name is, to be honest. I probably should know that, or I'm going to see to I so I actually do know that because I really enjoyed those books, even though, yeah, as I said, I just had some minor gripes with a segment. Thought it was a little bit too some things happened a little bit too quickly, and I wanted a more overview and I just a few more pages to get a little bit more depth in it. But as I said, I think the book redeemed itself, and I really enjoyed those books. And for some reason, like Harry Potter, Hunger Games, those books really jive with me real well. I have a hard time finding books to read. Even yeah, it's the dyslexia and ADHD. It's more the ADHD that's a problem rather than the dyslexia in the case. Because if I find a book that I find interesting, I have no trouble at all to read a lot of to read it. But I have a hard time finding books I really like. But I might find more. I'm going. My plan is to read more. I haven't read a lot in my life, to be honest. Reading those three books is more than I've read the last like 3 years or something, at least for like literature and stuff like that. I've read a lot of, just things when you need to read simply, and some things for school too, so like academic stuff. But it was nice reading those books, and I'm a little bit sad of actually completing them. And that's probably why I put it off too, because I didn't really want to finish it. But when I had like a month or two break from them, and I don't know, it probably made it better. Also, I still got like a little bit this empty feeling after it, but it was quite nice. It's those books have helped me with my anxiety quite a lot too, because I really like the an entirely other world style of books, so I can like really immerse myself and not really think about this world too much when I'm really into it, and just like get, yeah, just be into the book completely and enjoy it. And as I said, I really enjoy those books. I need something else to finally read. But yeah, after it's quite those books are quite sad too. At least I find them quite sad. Segments of it kind of makes sense with the whole premise of it, but definitely worth reading. In my opinion, at least, it's really easy to read too, but still well written. But yeah, nothing too hard, especially I had no trouble at all reading it. It's also aimed for a little bit younger demographic than me, really. It's kind of young adult book and like under that too, but yeah, they were fucking awesome. And after that, I sat and cried on the balcony for a little while because I don't know. Also because the book was there was something that was quite sad about it, but then I also start thinking about just because I read those books when I had a lot of anxiety this spring, like incredible amounts of anxiety. It's gotten a lot better since then, but reading it again, and I also just I don't know, I just needed to cry a little bit, to be frank. But it was nice. It was nice. But yeah, except that I've also thought a little bit about like self harm and stuff like that. It's something I indulge in sometimes. It's maybe not the right word for it, but it fits quite nicely. I have a few different reasons why I do it. I cut myself sometimes, and I usually hit myself for just some infliction of pain. Find it quite relieving. For yeah, one reason is if I feel apathy, which I don't do too much anymore, but when I was younger and really depressed, just the pain can be quite relieving when you're feeling apathic and like feeling completely empty and not able to feel anything really. But it's also been a way for me to deal with my anxiety to some extent because all the psychological and mental pain, actually countering that a bit with physical pain helps me a bit. But I haven't hurt myself or haven't done any self harm, in a few months at least. I did it last time I cut myself was in Croatia when I was there with my friends. Had a lot of anxiety then, and like also I yeah, I heard like some shit talking behind my back, and that yeah, it wasn't fun experiencing that when your friends says stuff behind your back and don't think you hear them. And I actually did like twice at least. I heard it, so I don't know. It might be the only two times it happened, but I'm pretty sure it's happened more on top of that. And yeah, it's unfortunate. Uh, except also especially that vacation. My anxiety when I don't have the time to deal with my anxiety, it's like my anxiety usually turns into like grief. I cry a lot, but if I don't have the space or the time to do that, to deal with those things, it sometimes turn into frustration, and I can be quite agitated, and sometimes I just yeah, I can get a little bit angry then, and Or sometimes I also just become an asshole when I'm really anxious. That happened like 2 years ago when, or it's longer than that, no, 2.5 maybe? Yeah, about 2.5 years ago, I wasn't the best friend towards, especially one friend. I acted like a bitch because, I don't know, jealousy to some part, and also I thought like to some extent that it could take it because, but also that doesn't make it any less worse how I acted. But and I think also that came back to actually bite me in the ass now, because yeah, I was with that friend in Croatia, and you know, things hasn't been quite as good as they've been before. I still consider us friends and we're good friends and all that, but there is some unclear shit between us. Also because I think I've apologized once, but it, I probably should do it again, but I never found the time for it really, and I have a really hard time doing it because I don't know why I do. It's something I just have a really hard time is apologizing. But yeah, I have a lot of things to apologize for over the years towards friends and family because yeah, as I said, my anxiety sometimes not only like cripples me, but it also can overflow onto other people in periods. It's not something I'm proud over, and yeah, it sucks. But sometimes I simply can't see how it wouldn't affect me that way and make me less of a good person. But I mean, it's rarely I do shitty stuff, or it depends on how you see it, but could be worse. Yeah, but Croatia was nice, but holy shit, especially with the like hearing the crap behind my back, and before that also like this spring. I also faced a lot of shit, like people been speaking ill of me, and I mean I already took that badly. I I didn't even think I cared about people talking shit about me, but apparently I do. So yeah, it's especially when it comes from friends and like people you know simply. But especially in Croatia, when I heard things behind my back, I think one of those nights we were when I cut myself. I'm pretty sure I don't have like a lot of scars and stuff, or I have a lot of scars, but I usually don't cut so deeply. Usually to not have it super visible. I'm quite incognito with it. I don't want these huge, deep scars. But I have a lot of like smaller ones, and my I've never been. It's not nothing like I don't cut myself that often if I do any self harm. it's usually I punch myself or bite myself and stuff like that. It's also more easy to do if I'm about and get anxiety or stuff like that. It's very easy to just like pull up your sleeve and bite yourself in pretty much any situation and it can go unnoticed. Did that a lot when I was younger. I usually don't feel the need to do that too often, but I think I did it in Croatia too and like hit myself and shit like that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not, I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and it just sucks when you're that that people are shitty towards each other, like me, and when other people are too. I mean, I don't. This is quite self-centered or egotistical to some extent, but I also think I have a good reason for it. But it's, as I said before, it doesn't make it better. But yeah, it's just when I when you have experienced the amount of shit I have, and also just being me who with how I deal with stuff, but I've been through a lot of shit, and I'm still quite proud of being where I am, and that I'm not worse of a person because it could have turned a lot worse. And I'm usually a better person than most to some extent, even though I've done some really shitty things and haven't always acted the best. But I mean, everyone has a bad day or whatever, or I've had a bad life, or at least half of it. So, like, it's hard for me sometimes to not, like, things will, as I said earlier, overflow onto other people, and that's unfortunate. It really sucks. But it's, yeah. But having, like, friends talk behind your back and stuff like that, I'm surprised how much it hurt. And it's something also like, even though I were particularly shitty to one of my friends for a while, I didn't realize how I acted either. It wasn't with my intention, but yeah. But also like hearing people talk behind my back also will set its scars, and like I think it's nothing I will forget in quite a while. I I don't know. I live in the past a lot to some extent, or it's not rather that I live in the past, but I don't forget things that make a big impression on me, and especially like bad stuff that happened to me, I very, very easily remember for a long time. But I guess most persons are like that. It's hard to. I think it's very easy to remember those kind of things, like bad things happening to you. And I'm not trying to hold a grudge and stuff like that, but it for sure will affect things. And I don't know. I feel like things been shaky with my old group of friends, or they're still my friends, but with the last few years, I've had a hard time just managing being friends with that many people because we're quite a big group, and I don't know. Things are just not the way they used to be to some extent, but I don't think they're bad. I think we're very good friends in a lot of sense and better in than most in some cases, but I don't know. Things have gotten a bit more complicated over the years, and also I've had 3 years that's been among the worst in my life, except my father's death. The like 10 years, the 11 years since my father's death being quite bad overall, but I had a really bad time, especially 2.5 years ago. I got really depressed, and that had consequences that led to me having an amount of anxiety I've never experienced before. A different kind of anxiety. Like before, I was probably more depressed, and lately I've been more anxious because even though I had like a lot of anxiety when I was a kid, around like 10 to 14 and above that too, but I don't know. It's just a change. There's definitely some change there. But I want to get better at apologizing, but yeah, it's for sure one of my problems or something I have a problem with doing, a very hard time doing. Well, yeah, this is got a little bit more scattered than I wanted this to be, but I've talked about a lot of touched upon a lot of things. I need to talk more about this stuff too, but I don't know. I just had to get him out there. I don't think I've really talked a lot about it to anyone, and it's just something I come up to think about. And yeah, as I said, I need to think about it and express myself about it more too, because I don't feel like I've talked about it quite enough, but I don't really have much to say on it right now either. I'm just going to try to be a bit productive now in this evening because I haven't been really productive today. Not the worst either, but I mean, I'm doing this and I've been reading a bit and just trying to deal with anxiety and shit, but yeah, I could do better, but I don't want to push myself and actually get burnt out again. And because that would be bad. That was really bad. It was 2 years ago. About now, I got burnout, and that really sucks too. It's something I've been close to a lot when I was younger and have experience, but I've kind of pushed through on it. But you can only like hold things back so long before the dam breaks and everything comes flowing out. Yeah, it's just hard with all of the amount of anxiety. It's just that's what I got a feeling of for a while today when I sat on the balcony. Just the hopelessness of having and and also before having the amount of or experience amount the amount of anxiety I've been experiencing. It's just very frustrating. And yeah, it's just yeah, I don't things are very fucked up today. My because yeah, all the anxiety have really changed my life, especially the last few years, and made it a lot harder for me to be productive and I don't know and do things. Focus on things that doesn't interest me fully. It just have skewed my reality a lot. Well, yeah, I'm not going to ramble anymore. I I don't know what to say. I don't know. Kind of want to record longer to some extent too, but at the same time not. There's a day tomorrow too. Maybe I've gotten things a bit straighter in my head and come back to everything I've talked about today. Well, yeah. Thanks for watching. It's been it's been a thing today, and yeah, I've shared a bit of stuff like as I said, I need to deal with it more and I need to form my thoughts about it better and but I just needed to talk about it a little bit. There's a lot of things like that I don't this is something I do a lot of my opinions form doing this. It's sometimes things I've never thought about in the same way because I've never tried to express them really. Uh, really? I don't know what that kind of word I tried to say before that, but yeah, never mind. Thanks for watching and goodbye.